Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about protecting your energy. I will give you 8 steps to protect your energy, live in a greater alignment with yourself, and it will also give you a great navigation towards something that can spark a greater meaning within you, so you can start investing more of your energy into something that is actually truly important to you. And it's hard to know what's important to us until we tap deeper into that authentic self, into the true self, so we can recognize what feels right, what is in alignment with our hearts, what resonates on that deep level of being. So we don't waste our energy just on some false ideas that society has conditioned us to think and feel about life. Like sometimes we may have some goals just because society taught us that that's what is success, that's what's happening, that's what brings us joy. But when we tap deeper into ourselves, we may recognize that it's not truly resonating with us. And why it is important? It's important because people often start following certain ideas because they think it will bring them happiness, but they only feel inspired to do that because they've heard somebody that that's cool. But when we tap deeper into ourselves, we find that there is a sense of, there is like a compass within us, within all of us. And some people would call it that when you get deeper into your authentic self, you will feel it. Other people will say when you find your true self, you will feel it. But often it's hard to know what it truly means. But there's some, like, we could say like magic to it. Because if you look at some great people of this time right now, like let's say Wim Hof, an Iceman, people know him. And the great thing about Wim Hof is that at some point in his past, he felt a strong calling to go into the cold water. Back at that time, he had no idea that feeling that he has for the cold water will eventually change the world in a much more positive way. It will change the science and an understanding of our biology and the power of the mind and so on. So we have many people like that in this time. Like, for example, Dr. Joe Dispenza as well. He felt when he had that injury about his back, he felt that he can heal himself, and he did. And because of that, he started researching that field of self-healing and the power of the mind. And when we change our state of consciousness, we may change our bodies. And that's, again, something truly, truly powerful. Then we have Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, who was afraid of all of that back at her time. It was like an esoteric knowledge, right? And she was afraid of all of that. She was never paying attention to it. But her husband or her boyfriend back at that time was really into it. So one day she felt like she wanted to also read something about it. Like she felt cold. She was afraid of it all her life until one day she felt called to it. So together they did a certain practice. I don't know what it was, like a meditation or something. And her head started moving, like her nose started forming letters. And later they found out that those letters are actually forming words, and those words are forming sentences. And later they found out that actually she's channeling a certain being from higher state of consciousness. And it all happened because she felt a calling to do that. So how can we in tune with that calling, and what can happen once we get deeper into that calling? Well, the truth is that most people never in tune with their calling because they're constantly wasting their energy. People are wasting their energy because they don't know how to protect it, how to invest it. So the first step to protect your energy, so you can have more energy, so you can use it for what you feel that is important to you or what you want to do with it, is to catch yourself every time you start gossiping about others and change it for acceptance. The truth is, we can't change others. Others may come to us for an advice, and we can give an advice, but we'll never be able to change them. Therefore, gossiping will not change anything. It can only make things worse. Firstly, inside your mind, because each thought will trigger emotion, and when you start feeling bad because you're gossiping, those emotions will trigger more of the thoughts that are equal to those emotional sensations. And because most people are wired that way, you may experience that sense of connection with somebody because you're gossiping, and you may feel good, oh, that person is feeling the same about those people. And you may feel like, oh, something good is happening. We have that conversation about how these people are bad right there. But the truth is that it's not doing any good for you, not for people around you. We need to learn to be better than our environment, right? And acceptance of others may create a beautiful positive change in that happening. So catch yourself at gossiping and change it for acceptance. People are how they are, and they have an ability to change their story, to change their beliefs, and to raise their selves up. But you can't do that. So gossiping will not help you in any way. It will only make things worse, especially if somebody will hear somewhere that you are gossiping, then things will get even worse. So catch yourself at gossiping and change it for acceptance. Why it is so important when it comes to protection of our energy? Well, just think about how often you're thinking about others. In social media, it's quite popular to just scroll around and write negative comments about how somebody is expressing his or her creativity. And, every time we catch ourselves at doing those things, at gossiping, at thinking badly about somebody, how much better we could invest our energy. Let's say that our energy is what gives us life. The vital life force that is moving through us is giving us an ability to think and to feel, to experience life. If we are not aware of that, we'll be just wasting it because we take things for granted. But if we become aware that we are life itself, experiencing life, right? We are life itself, experiencing life. We may recognize that there's so much wonders to experience, so much beauty to create, so many great ideas to express. There's a song within you that is urging to be heard, right? And once we recognize it, we stop giving or paying attention to any negative thought about others, because all we wish for others is to be well. All we wish for others is to be well. Because if we truly want to make this world a better place, let's learn to think about others in a better way. So that's something truly important when it comes to protection of our energy. The second thing is that make sure that your actions reflect your values and intentions. This is something, again, truly powerful. When it comes to protection of our energy, how often we just do things. We just do things and we don't even know why we're doing that. It's because you're not aware of yourself. When you're not aware of yourself, that vital life force that is moving through you is just moving in all kinds of different directions. You do a bit of this, a bit of that, you start reading that book, and you start reading another book, and you start watching that video and this and that and that. And that's where we waste a lot of our energy. When we pay more attention to our core values, what are our core values? And that's something we should reflect a lot. What are my core values right now? Am I following my values? And we start living our lives more intentionally. Aligning our actions with that will become something natural. Why? Because when we become conscious of our intentions, and we have intentions for everything, just that we're not conscious about it, just that we're not aware of it. It's often hard, but rewarding on a long shot. So make sure that your actions reflect your values. If you're valuing peace, make sure that you demonstrate peace. If you're valuing honesty, make sure that you demonstrate honesty. If you want to live a life of abundance, make sure that your intentions with everything you do are abundant. If you want to experience a life of greater meaning, make sure that when you start your day, your intentions will be filled with meaning. Or if you don't know what is meaningful to you, may your intentions be designed the way that life will guide you towards greater meaning. May today a truth be revealed to you that will introduce me to a greater meaning. That could be a great intention for starting your day. That's something truly, truly interesting, because once we start using intentions for our relationships, for our business or job, for school, if you're in school, for anything, when we start using intentions, our life starts changing. Because intentions are like little helpers that were planted inside of our souls at our birth. Like, if you will use your intentions, your life will be much easier. So your job is to become more conscious of your intentions, so you start using them more wisely. That's something truly interesting, right? The third thing to protect your energy is a mental diet. What's a mental diet? I call it a mental diet because mental diet leads to mental wellness. And sometimes I'm using these words because they sound beautiful. But the truth is that when we become aware of how much of consumption of information fit into our daily diet, it's much easier to recognize when there's enough of watching videos, when there's enough of listening music, when there's enough of watching news, when there's enough of conversations with people. You know, every single day is unique, and every single day we may feel uniquely differently, which means that sometimes we feel like today, whole day long, I just want to learn. I want to read books, I want to watch videos, listen podcasts, and it just feels right. But it doesn't mean that the next day it will feel right as well. If we're not aware of that, for one day we may whole day long invest our energy into learning, but the next day we want to just copy the previous day, but excuse me, but it just doesn't feel right anymore. And that's where we start losing our energy. Why it is happening? If you've invested whole day long into learning, then it makes sense that the next day it would be a great time to let this new information ground into your brain. And in order to let this new information ground into your brain, you need to let yourself to take it easy so it can happen, right? If you plant a seed into the ground, you will not be just digging it every single moment you think about it to check what's happening. You need to let it be there. You need to let it sink. And that's why it's so important to become aware of how we feel right at this moment. How we feel right at this moment. What feels right. That's why mental diet is so important. To become more aware how much of consumption of information fit into your daily diet. Become aware of that and see what fits better. You know, when it comes to food, all of us may have a bit different diet because some food fits better than other. And some experts may tell you what's good for you, but still you need to find out for yourself what truly feels good for your body, right? And it's same with information. So many people may give you advices, how to think, what to read, what to listen, how much of this is enough, how much of that is good. But at some point, you will recognize that you have completely unique system, and your system works completely uniquely for you. And only by knowing yourself, you can know what fits best for you. And that's, to me, a mental diet, when we recognize how much of something is enough. You may be listening certain theories that may affect your beliefs about the world. You may be listening certain psychologists maybe, or certain teachings, or whatever may influence the way you look on life. But if you don't take time, so this information may sink in, so you can recognize what is actually resonating with your inner vision, your heart. You may be manipulated with this information, and your perception of life may be manipulated with everything you've consumed. And that's where people lose themselves. So we truly need to become aware of what feels right. And in order to become aware of what feels right, we need to let ourselves to let information sink, right? That's why it's important to have days to learn and to have days to be more in quietness if that's possible. If not in quietness, at least let's spend a bit more time in nature. Let's do other things. Let's be more active physically, and so on. So being an observer of what feels right at this moment will lead you to a greater self-awareness and a greater understanding of what you need to do right at this moment. And it will help you to protect much of your energy, because our mind is such a powerful tool, and if we're not using it correctly, it helps us to waste a lot of our energy. And that's why so many people are constantly drained out, constantly in the slower emotional states. And it's hard for many people to get out of it, because people just don't take time to nurture themselves. We are constantly searching for distractions because we're used to live that way. But when is the time to say to yourself, well, right now I will take care of myself before anything else. Right now I will make sure that I'm okay. Even if I'm not okay, I will make sure that I will feel okay about not feeling okay. And that's something hard to do for many of us, but so necessary. The fourth thing I want to give you here is an emotional release practice. Whatever can help you to release your emotions. Just a few days ago, I've put a guided meditation on my YouTube channel that is designed to release your emotional tension, and it is actually really powerful. I put in also an ancient Egyptian music that is, to me, it's really emotional and really moving and strong, and it can help us to raise our energy beyond the previous limitation. And maybe try it out, see if it will work for you. So the whole purpose of emotional release is that we release what is not serving us anymore. And most of our memories are stored in emotional system. So what it means, we experience life through sensing it, right? And we sense experiences through emotions. When something beautiful is happening, we experience a lot of joy and happiness, and that's how we remember those moments. And when something heavy happens, we experience emotions of pain, sadness, frustration, anger, shame, and so on. And that's how we remember those moments. But if a certain memory that is connected to those emotions may be the reason that you're afraid of following your dreams, it means that that emotional block is kinda not allowing you to pursue your mission. And in order to overcome it, it's often important to release that tension that's present within you. Just to recognize the deeper truth. Well, maybe you've been bullied when you were younger and it caused you to protect yourself. So we have many painful emotions around that memory. And when we go deeper into that memory, we may recognize that hurt people, right? You've been bullied by people that were bullied maybe by their parents, or we never know what happened, but what we know is that people that were bullying us were really, really hurt. And once we know that, you know that it's not you that's stupid or wrong or ugly or whatever. Those were the words of hurt people. So the truth is that you are unique as you are. And that's all you need to know. When some people called you ugly or weird, those were their words. But how you choose to see yourself is your evolution, right? And it's much easier to evolve once we recognize that maybe our past was not the way we think it was. And finding deeper truth in what happened may help us to release a lot of the tension that we may hold within ourselves. So that's something, again, hard to do, but it can help you to protect so much of your energy, because having emotional blocks may cause us to look on life from that victimized state of being. If you've been hurt in the past, for many people it may happen that they will look on life through that hurtful lens. Everything is bad. We are unworthy. We are stupid. We are not capable of doing anything. And if we look on life through that kind of perception, that kind of a lens, it's hard to find any meaning. And if life is meaningless, we'll feel unmotivated. And when we feel unmotivated, we don't sense any reason to do anything. And once we sense no reason for anything, we may just wait until we die. And that's not a beautiful state to be in. So a big shift may happen once you recognize your value. And you may recognize your value when you recognize that what happened in your past has nothing to do with your present. What happened in your past maybe taught you something that you can't realize yet. But if you can't realize yet, it means that you're on a mission to find more of the teachings from your past. And sometimes therapists may help you. Sometimes certain guided meditation may help you. Whatever can help you, you need to do the work so you can free yourself, so you can pursue your mission, whatever it is. And I want to give you so much more information, but I think this video is already becoming really, really long. So anyway, I will go on because it's important. The fifth thing to protect your energy is to create a friendly environment in which you live. What it means? It means that the space in which you are, make it friendly, make it supportive. Whatever you want to do in life, make your environment the way that it is recharging you, not exhausting you. That's a great way to protect your energy, because when you get home from your job or from wherever you were, make sure that your home feels like heaven, that your home feels like a place where you recharge your batteries. That will help you to protect a lot of your energy. It will make you stronger. You will plug yourself back to that flow of life, and that's something that is truly important. Whatever may help you with that. If you need some art on the wall, if you need to, clean the space, make sure that it's friendly for you. The sixth reminder is to make sure that you're intentionally setting your day. I reminded you before about intentions, but when it comes to intentional setting of the day, it comes to our morning routine. Like, what's the intention for today? So I mentioned most of it before, but here I just want to say that every single day should have an intention. Like, what's your intention for today? If you feel tired, may this day recharge you. May this day be filled with peace. Because sometimes we just don't need any drama, right? Any stress. May this day be filled with peace. May this day support my state. However I am, if you're not feeling good, however you are, may this day support your state. Intentional day setting. Start your day every single day with an intention for the day. The seventh reminder, recognition of the voice of the true self. Guidance towards authentic being, living, and expression. So that's something that to me is the most important thing that we need to find out, and that's the recognition of the voice of the true self. That's what I've mentioned at the beginning of this video when I mentioned the Wim Hof, the Joe Dispenza, the Esther Hicks, and there are so many people that we can find that their lives changing journey started with an inner calling. So many people like that, and that's where they've consciously or unconsciously in tune with the voice of the true self, guidance towards authentic being. And after that, most of those people became more authentic, more true, more honest, and they've started living in the truth of life. And that's something that we all need to realize at some point, the voice of the inner truth. And recognition of that voice may happen through meditation, through reading books that may remind you of that. Sometimes in a whole book, we may hear one word or one sentence that just resonates with us. And that may help us to find a path to our inner truth, or to make few steps closer to that voice of the inner truth. There is no right or wrong way to that, but actually you just need to find out what can help you to listen up what your heart is saying. And to me, it's always a meditation. When I let go of my analytical mind, I will feel what I need to do. And because I've trained myself to do that, it's much easier for me right now. But in the past, it was not easy. I was lost. And still I find myself lost sometimes. But it happened to me the same as to many people. At some point, I just felt I need to start painting. But what I did that it happened to me, that what connected me with that voice, when I quitted my job, and I'm not saying that you need to quit your job, but that's what happened to me. When I quitted my job, and finally I had so much of free time, I just started drawing. I just felt naturally drawn into art. So when you feel like you're naturally drawn into something, it means that you're in tuning with the voice of your inner truth. And that will help you to protect so much of your energy, because you will not be wasting it anymore in living meaningless life. You will actually start paying more attention to in what kind of direction that voice is calling you. So it's not always easy, because when I felt called to start drawing and later painting, I was kind of guided through many challenges, financial challenges, fearful challenges. I needed to overcome many great fears I had about self-expression and authentic expression. But it made me much, I would say, more evolved version of me. It helped me to evolve in a much faster way and more beautiful way. And it also reassured me every single time I've in tuned with it that everything will work well, everything will work out well. And that's something truly important to be reminded of, because everybody who is practicing whatever helps them to in tune with that inner truth are always reminded that whatever you're doing, if you're doing things from your heart, everything will work out well. And truly interesting things starts happening, many synchronicities. So amazing. And the last thing I want to give you here to protect your energies, to create a sense of direction in life. So it means that we engage into something that is giving us a sense of meaning, and we set some goals around it. We create that vision for the future, and we become better at it. And that's something that that to me, it's like, that's the meaning of life. We first in tune with that inner voice so we can recognize why we are here at the first place. And it's not like something like light will appear and you will know exactly, but we usually experience that gentle guidance, like Wim Hof experienced a calling into the water, into the cold water. He didn't experience like a clear message like you will be changing the world, you will be changing lives of many. He just sensed a calling, go into the cold water. And that's where he experienced that need for a deep breathing. And that was a beginning of that breathing practice by him. And you know, like many other people, everybody experienced that gentle sense for a certain direction, like a natural calling, a gentle natural calling for something. And once we find that sense of direction in life, our life will become much more meaningful, because now we are walking a path of a mission. Now we are walking a path of a purpose, and that's something truly big. So engage into something that is giving you that sense of a meaning. Set some goals around it. Even if you're not sure that this is it, set some goals around it, and you will see if eventually it will not bring you any greater sense of a purpose or joy or passion. At least you've learned what is not working for you. So that's it for today, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed in this message. I hope you found some valuable information. And I want to remind you that today is the last day to enter the giveaway on my Instagram page for the print of the painting, the dragon. AttractPassion is my page, and you can find everything there. Also, we are running a super sale until the 1st of December. 20 off on all the prints of my art. You can find it in my Etsy shop, AttractPassion. The link is also in the description. Thanks from my heart for all of your wonderful support. You're all truly appreciated. I love you all, my friends. I'm sending you all lots of love, blessings, and power. Have a beautiful, creative day. Until next time, one love.